viewers, and welcome to another edition of a park review from Big Guy Rides. The next park that we went to go visit is called Lagoon. This park is located in Farmington, Utah, just north of Salt Lake City. This is a family-run park, not owned by one of the major chains, and it is definitely one of the best family-owned theme parks in the country. I would definitely recommend to stop or visit if you are in the Utah area. The first ride that we went to go get on is Primordial. This is their brand new for 2023 roller coaster, and it features some very immersive queue line theming. Sets you back in kind of a Primordial era stage, and provides a ride that is half roller coaster and half dark ride. It has a moving loading station. We give it a ride rating of a 6 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. Just be ready to hop on quickly as the trains do continue to move while you get into load. These cars allow for decent room for larger riders and have these little blaster guns that you get to shoot as you go through the dark ride portion of the attraction. With all that said, let's take a ride on their brand new coaster, Primordial. And as you exit the dark ride portion of the coaster, you can see your score compared to your partners and your neighbors that you are shooting alongside. This is one of their coasters that was built in-house, and I have to say, it is an amazing ride for a park to manufacture completely in-house without the help of an outside ride manufacturer or a third party. The next ride we went to go get on is called the Rocket. This both has a blast off and a drop tower side. We happen to do the blast off side. We gave it a ride rating of a 7 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. Shout out to my buddy Ryan who helped me get strapped in. Pro tip, larger riders always bring a friend who can help you get strapped in. Let's blast off. After we stepped off the Rocket, we went over to the signature attraction, Cannibal. This has a beyond vertical drop and is one of the steepest in North America. This is also a ride manufactured in-house by the park, and one that I would highly recommend. We gave it a ride rating of a 10 out of 10 and a size rating of a large. The seats are a little bit tight, but there is a test seat out front, so make sure you can get strapped in. I will say I was unable to get the test seat light to turn green. However, I was able to get on the ride, so there's a little bit of wiggle room on the test seat. As a reminder, I'm about 6'4", 295 pounds. Cannibal starts off with this dark elevator lift to get you to the top. And with that said, let's take a ride on Cannibal. What an awesome ride on Cannibal. That one landed in my top 5 coasters I've ever been on. Next we went over to Centennial Screamer. This is an enterprise style of ride. This one has a very large size rating of an XXL and a ride rating of a 5 out of 10. These cars can seat 1 or 2 individuals, and they actually do not have any seat belts. The gravity keeps you in as you spin around. With that said, let's take a ride. After that, we went over to get on Paratroopers. This is a theme park classic. Note there are no single riders on the Paratroopers. This one spins you around in a circle. We gave it a ride rating of a 3 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. Let's take a spin with Paratroopers. Next we went over to Jetstar 2. This is an awesome Schwarzkopf model. Again, note there are no single riders on this ride. No single riders. The reason is the second rider acts as your seatbelt for the first rider in the car, so you must have two in order for it to be safe. We gave it a ride rating of a 6 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. It features a very unique spiral lift hill and is a pretty rare model, so I'm very glad that we got on it and would highly recommend you make sure to get a stop at this ride if visiting Lagoon. That being said, let's take a ride on Jetstar 2. What a fun ride on Jetstar 2. And after that, we headed over to Air Race. This is a Zamperla spinning planes model that is pretty popular around parks throughout the world. This one happens to have some really tight restraints. We give it a size rating of a medium and a ride rating of a 5 out of 10. Let's go spinning on Air Race. After we jumped off Air Race, we went over to the Bat. This is a Vekoma suspended family coaster, and some people call these the Hang and Bang. However, I didn't think that this one was too bad. We gave it a ride rating of a 5 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. These seats allow for plenty of room for family riders. And with that, let's take a lap on the Bat. because it's a family ride, that does have a long line, so get to it early. The next ride we went to go get on was called the Space Scrambler. A common ride at most parks, we definitely recommend always stopping at these, as they're one of our favorite style of attractions available. We give it a ride rating of a 5 out of 10 and a size rating of an XXL. This one does allow for single riders, meaning there is ample room in the car if you want to go by yourself. Let's go around on Space Scrambler. After that, we went over to get on the Sky Ride. This has a ride rating of a 5 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. It's definitely the best way to see the park and will carry you over the midway as you look down on the patrons below. It's also the fastest way to get from one side of the park to the other. Once we got to the other side of the park, the first ride we jumped on was Roller Coaster. This is an incredibly awesome ride. It's over 100 years old, has been retracked many a times, but is definitely one we'd recommend you stop and try out. This coaster has even survived multiple fires and been rebuilt. We gave it a ride rating of a 7 out of 10 and a size rating of a large. It features Millennium Flyer trains similar to those on Ghost Rider, Texas Stingray, and Apocalypse, so if you have ever ridden those coasters and you fit, you should be fine on this as well. Let's take a ride on the 100-year-old ride, Roller Coaster. Once we got done with Roller Coaster, we next headed over to the Wild Mouse. This is a Mauer type of Wild Mouse coaster. We gave it a ride rating of a 6 out of 10 and a size rating medium. It's very tight to get into these cars, and it has a single position lap bar, so if you have one large rider and one small rider, beware. With that said, let's take a lap on the Wild Mouse. Up next, we headed over to Colossus the Fire Dragon. This is another awesome Schwarzkopf model, a double looping coaster that pulls some intense forces and is definitely not for the faint of heart. It features lap bars only, which offer for a lot of room and really comfortable ride. We gave it a rating of an 8 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. It's an older coaster model, but still one that runs very smooth. Let's take a ride with Colossus. What an awesome ride on Colossus the Fire Dragon. Up next, we went over to Wicked. This is a Zero vertical launch coaster, which is an incredibly cool model and one that I definitely would recommend you do not miss if you're heading to Lagoon. It has very comfortable seats. We gave it a ride rating of a 9 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. The lap bar only offers for an awesome experience, allowing you to feel very free. Let's get launched with Wicked. After that, we went over to Spider. This is another Maurer coaster, and it is a spinning type of coaster. It has a really cool queue theme going up through a castle, and it's an awesome family ride. We gave this one a ride rating of a 6 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. I did have a malfunction on this, and my device was not recording as we took off, so unfortunately I do not have a POV. However, I did get a nice shot of the coaster traversing through the course, and we'll enter that here so you can get an idea of what the ride would be like. Definitely stop by the Spider, especially if you have family or kids. Once we got off that, we went over to the Wild Kingdom train. Now, this is a really cool train. It's very beautiful. It goes around the lake. But I do want to point out that the animal exhibits that it passes by are maybe not in the best shape. We gave it a ride rating of a 3 out of 10 and a size rating of an XXL. Almost anybody should be able to get on the train. I do like that they have animal exhibits, that you can look at, and it does add a cool dynamic to the park. However, I just wish they would be a little bit nicer for the animals. As you can see, the fences and concrete just don't appear to me that they are very well kept up. If I could have one suggestion for Lagoon, it would be to have some better animal enclosures and make this area look a little bit nicer and be more comfortable for the animals. They do have a nice variety of animals to look at, and I would still recommend to take a trip on the train. There's a very nice theater in the middle of the park where some shows and attractions and dances go on, and there's also a nice beer garden for adults. Up next, we got on the Lagoon Carousel. This one we gave a ride rating of a 2 out of 10 and a size rating of an XXL. Adults are not required to put the straps on this ride, but I will show you the straps are very long, allowing to accommodate for almost anybody on the carousel. Let's take a spin. Once we got off that, we took a little walk through the kids section of the park. I will say there's a lot of kids rides at Lagoon. There's almost 2 separate sections for kids, and this allows for families to spread out, get a variety of rides, and see a lot of different attractions. There's also some great food in the Central Midway and as you approach the kids section. As you can see, the kiddie section does get very crowded, so if your kids are ones that like to do a bunch of rides, you might think about arriving to the park a little bit early before the crowd set in. One thing about Lagoon is the queue lines are very short for most of the rides, so lines tend to spill out into the midway, making the lines appear to be a lot longer than they actually are. It also makes the park feel a lot busier because you will just see people standing in the midway when actually, in reality, they are waiting in line. Laguna Beach is the water park. It was closed on my visit. The next ride we went to go get on is Bombora. This is a small family coaster, but I will say this is one of the best rides in the park, from theming to atmosphere to ride experience. It has onboard audio that plays some really cool themed music as you take a ride. We gave it a ride rating of a 6 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. This is the ride that I lapped the most. I think I got about 6 or 7 different rides on it, and I really enjoyed it. So with that said, let's take a spin. As you saw on that ride also, Lagoon has some of the most beautiful backdrops of any coasters that I have gotten a part of riding, as the mountains are behind a lot of the rides. Up next, we got on Jumping Dragon. This is a really unique spinning ride. We gave a ride rating of 4 out of 10 and a size rating of a large. The lap bars are a little bit tight, but as long as that light in front of you turns green, you should be good to go. Let's take a spin with Jumping Dragons. Getting off Jumping Dragon will place you again into another small kids section with rides like the teacups, some really cool kid fish type ride, and some other family style of attractions. This one shoots water as you spin around. Lagoon, like most parks, does have an arcade. It is not the biggest arcade I've ever seen at an amusement park, but it gets the job done. It's a great place for kids to come and play while adults ride, or a nice spot where you can step outside of the heat and get away from the sun for a little bit. Next we went on Skyscraper. We gave this a ride rating of 6 out of 10 and a size rating of an XXL. 6 out of 10 is a higher rating than I would give most Ferris wheels. However, the view, combined with the ability to have the car spin, much like a teacup ride as you go around, make this one of the most amazing Ferris wheels I have ever been on. Note, no single riders on the Ferris wheel. Flying Aces is the next ride we got on. It is a flying scooter type of ride, very common at most parks around America, but I will say this is one of the best I have ever been on. We gave it a ride rating of 5 out of 10 and a size rating of an XXL. It should accommodate most riders, as it does allow for single riders in one car, meaning you have plenty of room to fit. Let's go swinging on Flying Aces. After Flying Aces, we went over to Terror Ride. Terror Ride is a Bill Tracy dark ride, and it's a very popular ride in the park, so I would suggest getting into this one early. We give it a ride rating of 4 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. Single position lap bar goes over both riders, but should allow for decent accommodation. Let's take a ride through the Bill Tracy dark ride called Terror Ride. Fun ride that was. After that, we got on Tidal Wave, which is their pirate ship style of attraction. This got a ride rating of 4 out of 10 and a size rating of XXL. The lap bar goes over all riders, but allows for a lot of room. Let's take a swing on Tidal Wave. And lastly, we went to get on Puff, the Little Fire Dragon. This has a ride rating of 3 out of 10 and a size rating of an XL. Single riders are allowed on this ride as adults, even though it is a kid's coaster. Let's take a lap with Puff. And that concludes the rides we were able to get on. There were some that we were unable to get on, like the Music Express, the Rocco Plane, which I have ridden at this park before and is extremely fun, the Catapult, which is their slingshot style of model, the Tilt-A-Whirl, I did not have time to get on either, as well as the Boomerang, which is their bumper cars. This was a very busy attraction, so if it is important to you, I would take the little ones and the family over there right away. Double Thunder Raceway is an attraction that is a go-kart style and does cost extra. We did not do this on our visit. Samurai is a Mondial type of a ride that was closed for refurbishment. And lastly, I did not have time to get on Dracula's Castle. This is another dark ride, which seemed to be very popular. That brings to an end our visit to Lagoon in Utah. I think this is an awesome park, definitely one of the top rated family parks and best independent park that I have ever been to. I would certainly recommend this as a bucket list park, especially with Cannibal. There is a lot of rides for larger riders, and we had a great experience. With that said, we ask you to like, comment, and subscribe, as that helps us with the YouTube algorithms. Thank you for watching Big Guy Rides.